Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is J&A Talk with your host, Jurassic John and Annie, and today we're going to be talking about the rise of the left on YouTube, why it's risen on YouTube, and how we can keep it rising on YouTube. And I'll kick it over to you.
All right, you have to do all that. But so we're just going to analyze all the major players on YouTube's and their social blades, like the PragerUs and the Crowders and the Cockaloonsians, both on the left and right, and just make our predictions for what we expect political YouTube to be looking like in the Biden administration and onward. And we're just going to start off with one of the biggest, I guess, not necessarily the most known, but the one that you probably seen a lot of ads of on YouTube.
If it is PragerU, one of the biggest propaganda machines on the site. They've been around for almost 12 years, and you see they got 2.85 million subscribers. And while they don't have any subscriber data for the last 30 days, they do have view data for the last 30 days. And you see they have over 28 million views in the last 30 days and have gone up 160.9%. Now, if you go to Crowder, he's been around even longer than they have. He's been around since 2006, and he has a subscriber base of over 5 million subscribers. You may know him from the Change My Mind. It was a huge meme a year or two back, and his subscriber growth, he does have data. It's gone up 20,000 subscribers for the last 30 days, but it's down 71.4% from last month. Now, that's probably because he's been inactive, but still, it's a big deal. Not to mention his views have gone down quite a bit. He has over 7 million views, but it's gone down 63.2% over the last month.
Yep. And the next guy we're going to talk about is, of course, the infamous Dave Rubin. Of course, he's the classical liberal that everyone keeps on talking about. He is obviously a more right-leaning figure. He's been on YouTube not that long, just under a decade or so. He has, he has just over 1.5 million views, and his subscribers over the past month has gone up by over 100%, just 40,000 subscribers, and he's had over 9 million views over the past month. So it's really decent and consistent growth for someone who hasn't been on the website for that long. And then our next dude is Timcast. This is his IRL channel, which is a lot more popular than his other channels, and he has just under 1 million views, but he's been growing at a decent pace. His view count for the past month has been down by about 40%, so about 28,000 viewers or subscribers for the last month, and he has just under 20 million views, but that's also down just under 10%.
And I will add about Timcast. This is his least subscribed to channel, but it's the only one that has subscriber data for it, and I believe it should have the highest view count for this month, so that's the reason we use that. And we'll go to Ben Shapiro, the big meme himself, the wet-ass P word, Ben Shapiro. He's gained a tremendous amount of growth this month, 110,000 subscribers, up 10% from last month. And although his viewer count has gone down only 6.2%, he still has 25 million views for the month. That is still incredibly impressive. And now when we kick it over to the left-wing side, we have basically I guess you call the big gatherer, the ringleader of left YouTube in a way, the Young Turks, Cenk Uygur, Ana Kasparian, a few other people. They have over 5 million subs. They're about Steven Crowder level. Have gained a pretty impressive 30,000 subscribers for the month, and it's been pretty consistent from last month. But their view count, now you could say they do post a lot of videos, but still 54 million views for the month, only down 5.6% is incredibly impressive considering they were the butt of the jokes of many internet people a few years ago.
And sticking with the more establishment centrist lane of the left wing is David Pakman. He's, of course, one of the most major, if you're not a TYT, you're definitely closer to a David Pakman level in terms of subscribers. He has just over 800,000 subscribers, and he's made some decent growth. 800,000 subscribers.
806 million views.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm goofy. He has just over 1.25 million subscribers with 800 million views over the past, I guess, the lifetime of his channel. He's gotten about 60,000 subscribers in the past month. His view count has been just over 40 million with just a small 16% drop. And then moving onwards is the Majority Report with Sam Cedar. The channel has been around since 2016, but the show has been around for ages, basically. He's been on syndicated radio for a long time. He has gained a decent amount of subscribers, just about 17,000. And he's had just under 14 million views, which is up from last month. So he's doing very well for himself.
You have Jimmy Dore. He has gained his channel growth has not been as massive, but it's still a fairly impressive 9,000. It's gone up 28%, and he has gotten 851,000 subs, over almost 400 million channel views, and has gone up 2% on views from last month with 8.784 million views for the month. And then finally we have Kyle Kalinske, the legless football lesbian coach himself. He's getting close to 1 million subscribers. Again, over 800 million channel views. Been around for around 13 years. And yeah, he's gained a pretty tremendous amount of subscribers. Not as much as some of the others, but he's gone up 58.3% over the last month with 19,000 subscribers. And a very, very respectable 13.353 million views for the month, up 14.6% from last month. Now, what does that tell you? Yeah, the right wing does still have a pretty solid presence on YouTube, but the left is gaining a lot of traction from what it was a few years ago. Like, I remember I started watching YouTube, political YouTube in 2013, and back in the day, there was really, once the anti-SJW videos came out, there was really not much of a left presence on YouTube. It wasn't until 2016 and the rise of Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump that you really get a stronger left-wing presence on YouTube. What do you think of that?
I think of 2016 also kind of coincides with like a more polarization on YouTube. You of course like the right wing, of course, shifted more from the anti-SJW to like injecting conservative policy into like the compilation and the cringe and the BTFO videos and stuff like that. And whereas the left wing, of course, pushed back against that and just made more policy-oriented videos and just kind of shifted further left with like people being more open with calling themselves socialists or calling themselves communists or just like social democrats like Kyle Kalinske, and just like just keeping more in line with like being further right, but of course not being as bigoted and just generally bigoted as right wing is.
And I will say that I think that it's very surprising. It's a really good comeback for the left. Like, for the longest time, again, you had these channels like Secular Talk and all them, but they were like basically half of the size, if not maybe a quarter of the size of some of these other channels. Like Destiny back in 2015 had no real solid presence on YouTube, at least. Like back when he debated, I remember when he first debated Sargon, he had like 70K subs or something like that. And everyone was talking about how he got basically destroyed every debate. That's kind of a meme now. But back in the day, it was unironic. That's how long I've been watching Destiny videos. But yeah, as you can see, the right still is very much popular on YouTube. Massive presence. In terms of the subscriber growth, Ben Shapiro pretty much doubles some of the biggest left channels. But of course, there are other left channels that we could talk about. But I think that this is looking pretty good. We're getting multiple left tubers with over 1 million subscribers. We haven't mentioned like ContraPoints, H-Bomber Guy is gaining a massive presence, Philosophy Tube, some of these others. And then you got the streamers, the Bosches, the Destinys, some of these people. And I think that one of the big reasons why they've gained such a presence on YouTube is because there's a lot of people now starting to fiercely push back against the right and co-opt at least some of the language and some of the strategies of the right, such as like posting many videos a day, consistently posting a lot of videos. We debate more. We're much more on the offensive. There was this meme that was, I guess, partially true back in the day, and that was that the left did not want to debate. At least not any of the big YouTubers did. But now they are. You got Sam Cedar, who debated Charlie Kirk a few years ago. You've got Kyle Kalinske did the same thing, and you got Destiny, who's debated almost every right winger that he has a large enough audience to come into contact with, and yeah.
Yeah, I think left too has become a lot more aggressive, honestly, towards the right wing. Is no longer just like treating them like they're just not happening, like just kind of closing your ears and closing your eyes and just like pretending they don't exist. It's just more like taking a more aggressive approach to them, just being like, these people are morons, just call them straight out, not just treating it as like a simple political disagreement. It's like treating the right wing rising as a way to like as a genuine threat to democracy and the well-being of other people, and like actually pushing back against them like they are. And also, I think another major component of their growth is as with the growth of like people looking for other sources of media. Of course, people who consider themselves left wing and watch CNN, they're like, oh, these people aren't really on my side. They're not really actually speaking the truth. They're just speaking for capital. So I think as more people have been looking online and decentralizing their news, they've come across people who like are like Kyle Kalinske, who tell you the news, but then they'll be like, well, this Washington Post story is like literally just a lie, Venezuela isn't really doing that. They're not doing election fraud or something like that. It's just like people are hearing more of the truth, at least in their eyes, compared to, I guess, more right-wing people who do have like a major network like Fox News, like on cable, that's actually saying some of the ridiculous things that they see on YouTube. So they don't necessarily always have to. They don't just have one major source of the news that's going to be telling them what's happening. Like they can actually turn on the TV and see all the crazy conspiracies they've ever wanted. I think another thing is, let's see, another thing is just about like with the end of Trump's term in office, I think there's going to be a major, power vacuum in the terms of like where are people going to like source their conspiracy theories and their policies and all the crazy things they say. Like, are they just going to stick with a more conservative or more traditional media personality like a Ben Shapiro, or are they going to go even off the deep end and go off with even crazier people who don't even have massive presences? I think that's going to be a challenge for the conservatives moving onward.
Yeah, and I think that I think that's probably one of the big things is this year. I mean, we can talk about the other strategies, the left making more content, doing more debates, using some of the right wing language like saying they're triggered, they're snowflakes, adopting some of that, I guess, that alpha dog language that conservatives do value. Because they value strength, they value masculinity. Adopting some of that has helped, but I think one of the biggest things, especially this year and this month, is the attempted coup, the failure of it, and the more or less fracturing of the Republican Party from you had the more Ben Shapiro types, the more establishment types, and of conservatives. Now you can argue both are pretty establishment, but in language, in their vernacular, like however you want to say it, the Trump is more populist in his rhetoric. And people like Ben Shapiro or Ted Cruz is kind of taking a different lane, but Mitt Romney. I mean, Ben Shapiro is still like he's a very big, I guess, free trade guy, but like they like to keep the veneer of respectability. They're not gonna outwardly go out there and be like, oh yeah, look at this, look at how many 10 million votes that got taken away from Trump.
Right.
They're gonna pretend like, oh, I'm just gonna say, I don't know what's going on, but
right.
This is kind of ridiculous or whatever. But they, deep down, they agree on most of the same stuff.
Right. Like Ted Cruz with his whole thing in Congress, he's talking about how we need to maintain what do you call it? Like maintain people's trust in our electoral system. It's like, yeah, okay, sure. He's definitely just trying to just like throw red meat at the conservative Trump base and just angling towards getting their votes come 2024 if he does decide to run. It's like if you're gonna stick with the more like Mitt Romney types who are just calling Trump crazy but agree with everything he says, or you're gonna stick with the Cruz types who really don't care about Trump as a person, just cares about getting his voters and stuff.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing. Like, that's the biggest thing right here. This is our chance. The left needs to continue doing all the strategies we said earlier. We need to take advantage of the fact that the Republican Party is pretty fractured, and the public approval of like Trump and Republicans is down at the moment. We need to seize that. We need to basically keep going on the offensive, debating these right wingers, calling them for what they are. We need to keep pumping out content, keep getting other bread tubers to pump out content. That's why we're throwing our hat in the ring. It's our first video. We're trying to throw our hat in the ring, hopefully convince others to do the same. And yeah, like we just gotta keep going at it. You know, I mean, any things you want to say?
I think the future of what the left wing looks like you said, John, there's a really good moment just to actually like make a full-throated kind of defense of like I guess at the very least like a more equitable economic system and a more fair social system. Like Trump is a terrible person. Like he's awful in every single regard. Like he's ugly. I'm sorry to say he's hideous, and he's also just has terrible political beliefs. But he's not the worst thing to ever happen to America. And if we continue to like people like Biden, who are just going to make small fixes around the end, just like going to enact small policies, which are great. We're not going to be able to push for a more equitable and fair society if we don't actually convince people who are more conservative or centrist leaning to actually understand like he's not the worst thing to happen to us, and things will always get worse before they get better. And I think just using their voices to actually convince people, let them know what's actually happened. I feel that we can make the best of the Biden administration. Hope there's not anything worse after that.
Yeah, and yeah, that's what we could do moving forward is, you know, in regards to Biden. I mean, he's president now, but it's not over. The right, this may be a pitfall for them, but it's not over. They can and they probably will gain more traction. There's a chance they will come back, but we have to be ready. Yeah, like, you know, it's the whole thing's a house of cards. Like, you think, you know, the right could come back and come back even worse. We don't know, but we just have to keep on fighting, keep on trying to get the left wing more relevance. Hopefully we start seeing leftists with 3 million, 4 million subscribers. Mm-hmm. You know, we're getting there. We're rising. Hopefully we'll continue, but let's not get too cocky here. Let's keep in mind that we could still very well lose this culture war, and we have a lot going against us. There's a lot more going against us than it is them, but right now we got to count our blessings while we can. Mm-hmm. And that's it.
Yeah, I think that's a great note to leave off on, and we'll just see you guys in the next video if you enjoyed our content and stuff like that. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.